वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते. So this was the first verse. What did it talk about? Who should study this? The people who are entitled to study this is the people practicing the sadhana chatushtayam. So what was the purpose of the book that is being given in this shloka is it is for liberation. And the subject matter. What is the subject matter? It is the analysis of the truth. This was verse number 1. Now verse number 2. Sadhana chatushtayam kim nitya vastu vivekah ihamutrartha phala bhoga viragah shamadhi shatka sampattihi mumukshutvam cheti. So in this second verse, it talked about the sadhana chatushtayam. What is sadhana chatushtayam? Sadhana chatushtayam is nothing but it has 4 components. Nitya vastu vivekah. So viveka, which is the discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent, and viragaha, which is the dispassion for the enjoyment of one fruits of actions here and hereafter, and also shamadhi shatka sampattihi. That means the group of 6 accomplishments, including shama, which is the control of the mind, and we will see that later. Mumukshutvam cheti. So also the earning for liberation. This was verse number 2. Verse number 3. Nitya vastu vivekah kah nityavastvekam brahma tadvyatiriktam sarvamanityam ayameva nitya vastu vivekah. So this verse 3, it talked about discrimination. So discrimination is what? The ability to differentiate between the permanent and the impermanent. So what is permanent? Nitya vastu ekam brahma. Brahma is the vastu or what is permanent. And tat vyatiriktam sarvam anityam. Other than that, everything else is impermanent. So this discrimination is known as viveka. The ability to discriminate between what is the real permanent thing in our life and where should we channel our energy. That kind of intelligence is known as viveka. Then verse number 4. Viragah kaha iha swarga bhogeshu ichharahityam. So this talks about viragaha or dispassion. If you say, I do not want the fruits here or after I go to heaven, that is, I am not doing any activity for me to get the benefits here or in heaven, then that kind of a quality is known as viragaha or the dispassion. So, iha swarga bhogeshu ichharahityam. So, there is no desire that I have to enjoy something here or in heaven. That quality is known as a viraga. That was verse number 4. Now, verse number 5, we started. Shamadhi sadhana sampattihi ka shamo dama uparamaha titiksha shraddha samadhanam chayiti. So, in this verse, set of 6 qualities were being talked about. What are all being talked about? Shamaha, control of the mind. Damaḥ, control of the senses. Uparamaha, continued control of the senses and the mind. Titiksha, patience, forbearance. Shraddha, faith. Samadhana, fixation on the goal. So the student asked, Shamadhi sadhana sampattihi ka. So what is Shama, etc.? So then we go to 5.1. We have seen this in the previous class. Shamaha kaha mano nigraha. So the student asked the teacher, what is shamaha? You mentioned the word shamaha. What does that mean? Like that he asked the teacher. So the teacher responds and says, mano nigraha. It is the control of the mind. So in the previous session, we saw what is the control of the mind? It's basically making your mind as a servant. Mind is only a servant. You have to give it commands. When the mind takes over and tells you how much you should eat, what you should enjoy, like that, when the mind takes over, then we become the servant and the mind becomes the master. So control of the mind means making the mind only as an instrument and not as a doer. So that is what we saw. And how can this be achieved? So in Bhagavad Gita, all these things are being talked about in various parts. We saw that values were being talked about, 4 to 6 values in chapter 13 and chapter 16. When you start to cultivate these values one by one, then you will get the control of the mind or shamaha. And also, Lord Krishna said in chapter number 6, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Like that he said. Two things are needed to control the mind. Abhyasa, practice. That is, keeping yourself focused on one thing again and again. You are doing religious activity. You have to be focused in that religious activity. Mind is going somewhere. You are sitting in the puja room. Not like that. Bring the focus back to the activity, to what is permanent, which is God. So bring your mind back. Abhyasa. Keep practicing again and again. First day it will not come. Over years of practice, this focus will come. Then Vairagya. Vairagya means doing the Indriya Nigraha, which we are going to see in the next verse. That is control of the senses. Unless control of senses come, control of mind will not come, because senses want to take the pleasures. They want to go towards pleasurable situations. So once you do not control that, mind control will not come. So this is what was said in the previous verse, 5.1 that we saw. So what will be the benefits of it? Peace of mind, and we will go more in spirituality. If our mind is peaceful only, then we will be able to sit and read the spiritual books. If our mind is wandering here and there, looking for other things, we will not be peaceful. We cannot progress in spirituality. Now we will do damaḥ, the next quality. Damaḥ kaha cakṣurādibāhyendriyanigrahaḥ. So the student is asking here, what is damaḥ? So next quality talked about was damaḥ. Damaḥ is the control of the senses. Cakṣurādi. Cakṣuhu means the eyes. So he is giving cakṣu, eyes, etc. Bāhyendriyanigrahaḥ. So these are the senses are what are going outwards. It takes pleasures or it does things outwards. So Bahya Indriya it is called. The senses are always placed outwards because it needs to grasp the things which is happening outside the world. So what are the senses? It is basically 10. We will go through this in detail. There are two types. We will classify them as karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. We will see in detail what they are. But basically karmendriyas are ears, eyes, nose, tongue and skin. And jnanendriyas are feet, hands, rectum, genitals and mouth. So these 10 are classified as the senses that we are talking about, which have to be controlled. So Bahyendriya Nigrahaḥ. So control of these senses, what is going outwards, is called as damaḥ. Like that the teacher replies. Now how do we cultivate this damaḥ? Few things are there how we can control these senses. We should not be in circumstances that make you weak. If you are not very stable, so if you are not if you are not able to control what you are eating, then you should not be in circumstances that make you vulnerable. So first, initially, you can start to avoid those situations. And the second thing is association with people who have this control. So when you are associated more with these people, then you also will get those qualities slowly. Then having some principles or like having some vratas. Like in Ekadashi day, I'm not going to eat, certain kind of food, or I'm going to fast. Then Shivaratri day, you are not sleeping in the night. So these kind of principles will also help you to control the senses. So the mind will become more powerful. Your senses will become more powerful actually after you do these vratas and things. The three ways in which we can cultivate this is not being circumstances which make us weak. Second thing is association with those that will help us cultivate this. And the third thing is keeping some principles. And what is the benefits? Mind will be peaceful. Senses always linked with the mind. So if you want your mind to be peaceful, then you have to control your senses, because senses will always want external input. That is, it will want to go for pleasures and stuff. So when that happens, your mind will also start to go in that direction. So unless your senses are controlled, your mind will not be peaceful. So damaḥ will give you the peace of mind. And it will also give you Indriya Shakti. The power of the senses will be enhanced when you stop giving it attention. When you control your senses, actually, the power will be increased. when you keep using something, what happens? There'll be wear and tear, right? Something like that. So if you want Shakti for your senses, then you should not put it to wrong use. So Indriya Shakti will be one benefit. And third benefit will be Sharira Arogyam. When the senses are not misused, you will have a healthy and happy life. So three benefits will be Shamaha, mind will be peaceful, Indriya Shakti, power will be there for the senses, and Sharira Arogyam, the healthy body will be achieved.